Hiya, folks. This is Rick Emmett of Triumph.
This is Mark Merrill, also known as Johnny B. Bad.
Hi, this is a best-selling author. I threw the best-selling in there. Best-selling author Dick Wybrow.
I'm Melanie from Second Shooter.
This is Jeff with Second Shooter.
Hey everybody, it's Brian Allen from Bridges Ablaze.
Hey, this is Sammy Lee, drummer of the band Red Rain.
Yo guys, it's Mark McKay.
Hey, this is Frank Fletcher.
Hola amigos, this is Billy Sheehan.
Hey guys, this is John Karabi.
Hi, this is Jim Valance.
What's up everybody, it's Logan from All the Pretty Things.
Hey guys, it's Lebo Leone.
This is Nothing from Inside the Trojan Horse.
What's up guys, Cassandra Carson here from Paralandra and the Life Project.
My name's Reggie, and you are listening to the Weekly Pour podcast. Thanks so much for joining the most amazing twosome out there.
It's time once again for the Weekly Pour, the show that knows everything about absolutely nothing. Here are your hosts, TbT and Ace.
Welcome to episode 184 of the Weekly Pour podcast. I am TbT. That guy over there is Ace, and it is Wednesday. It is 7 p.m. Wednesday, June the 3rd, and you are listening to us from the beautiful Sahara Desert because it no longer rains, even though that's all we talk about when we start the show normally, because it rains a lot. And now it's not. And I also have a microphone. It's working.
Does it work? Oh,
yeah,
good.
it worked just like I said it was going to last week after I restarted everything. And there it is.
I don't know. I'm not allowed to move my head. So.
No, just if you want to say no, just go left and right. Or if you're yes, just go front and back. Perfect. We have got a lot of stuff to get into this week, so we won't spend a whole lot of time talking about Ace's crappy pool or his tall grass, or the fact that moderator Natalie decides to put hand hearts in our chat on the YouTubes. Speaking of that, if you are watching us live, be sure to jump into the chat and say hi. Lots of our regulars are already in, including the new guy. We'd like to welcome the new guy, Digital Viper, who has decided to grace us with his presence this evening. Mama TbT, of course, was the very first one in. She was in at 5 o'clock this evening, just a couple hours before the show. Mrs. TbT is in, and as I already said, moderator Natalie, who is in there already throwing up hand hearts. And pretty much making her case to be fired on the 183rd consecutive episode. She wasn't involved in the first one, so yeah, good job to her. I love the fact that she continues doing these things because consistency is what matters. Or as the one big old dude on TikTok says, balance. You got to stay balanced. So there's this dude, I got to tell you this. There's this dude that goes and decides to get a snack. Pick a fast food restaurant, whatever snack. Let's call it Mickey D's today. Goes and gets a snack. That snack will comprise of 4 Big Macs, 7 cheeseburgers, 5 orders of 20 count chicken nuggets, a milkshake that's strawberry, one that's vanilla, one that's chocolate. And he will wash it down with a Diet Coke because you have to have Diet Coke for balance.
First of all, the shake machine is down.
Always. Not at his. Apparently his is working constantly.
What is the meal?
Get off of TikTok.
Yeah, you're on there a lot. I am rarely on TikTok. But
I am. It's ridiculous.
But what's a meal look like for this guy?
I literally just told you the meal. Well, no, that's
no. You snack. You said right. Snack.
I can't even go through a meal. We'll say there was one I think where he was recently at Denny. What do you mean? What's the point? Homeboy's hungry. However, and whatever he wants to do, it's his life. So be it. He is large and in charge. Large and in charge, I'm telling you. My goodness. But yeah, Diet Coke. Like the moderator said, he's got to watch his figure. Well, everybody is watching it. Yes, consistency is key. Viper says got to offset those carbs. Absolutely. He's a growing boy. Correct. He's just growing the wrong way. Speaking of TikTok, one other one that I want to mention is the one that I sent to you. I'm pretty sure I sent you another one today because it was absolutely hilarious, and it's got everything to do about the English language, and it just makes me laugh because the English language is hilarious. I'm not going to post these. Go do a search for yourself and find this stuff. It's becoming an addiction. I really got to get off of it because I'm watching Homeboy eat. Why am I watching him eat
Why?
17 cheeseburgers?
Why exactly? Because we
know.
all like a train wreck.
Exactly. That's where we're at. I don't
You know,
understand.
and I watch the things that people send me, but it's never stuff that's there's all kinds of stuff out there that I never see because I see the same things that everyone sends me. My family, you, that sort of thing. I don't explore on my own.
Am I not family?
I threw you in there. I said you.
You said family, you. There was a comma there.
There you no, a hyphen.
Oh, okay.
Excellent. Or EM dash.
Right. Yeah, I don't understand.
Ellipsis.
I don't get it. Yeah, thanks, Natalie. She said the same thing. Family, you. There are some good things about it. It just depends on your algorithm. Our show, the Weekly Pour Podcast, of course, has its own TikTok as well, and we have lots of bands, lots of cool bands that we follow, that we interact with. This is where we've gotten a lot of our pours of the week, which obviously we haven't had one lately. It's summertime. Bands are on tour, the stuff's going around. Sometimes they just don't have time to answer emails. Either that or I guess maybe I said the wrong thing. I don't know. But there's one that I sent you earlier. It's a band of teenagers. They're called American Vanity, and there's just something about them that I like. They're not like super hard metal or anything like that.
No.
They're poppy rock. But I wanted to give them some props simply because they have an EP out. I think it's, I don't know, maybe 5 songs on the EP. And it's not bad. These guys got potential.
Well, I didn't dig deep enough into it yet to form an opinion, but we can get around to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of potential, I got to jump into this. This is a story I found about 5 minutes ago, and I think everybody's going to be interested in this because it is unreal. So Garth Brooks and who knows, maybe American Vanity can get to this point at some point in their career. Garth Brooks is allegedly, reportedly, possibly thinking about selling his catalog to whoever wants to pay the price. He's considering selling his music catalog in a deal that's going to be worth a lot of money. And before I say exactly how much money, this potential transaction would include both his songwriting rights and his recorded music catalog, placing it basically among the largest catalog ever tried or ever tied to a single artist, if this is a completed deal. One thing to note before we get into the dollar figure, you can't go onto Spotify and listen to Garth Brooks. You can't go onto Apple Music and listen to Garth Brooks. And a lot of people are like, why? You can pretty much get everything. Well, if you didn't know, Garth Brooks signed, I guess, like an exclusive streaming deal back in 2016 with Amazon Music. So if you want to listen to Garth Brooks, if you don't have the physical album, CD, cassettes, 8 tracks, reel to reels, or bootleg copies on your Napster, you have to go to Amazon Music. Here's an interesting fact that I did not realize. Garth Brooks is the only artist to have 10 albums certified diamond. Now, what does that mean, you ask? Well, that means that it could cut glass.
Yeah, I know he's got a lot going on with that. I didn't know it was 10.
10. That means that each one sold at least 10 million copies. in the United States. 10 million copies. He's the only one to have 10 of them.
You know, and I think we forget because it's been a while, but how big he was in the '90s and early 2000s and such. You know, he was one of the. I want to say he's one of the first country music artists to play stadiums. I would him and Kenny Chesney. I would have to look, but
yeah, because I want to say George Strait was selling some stadiums.
You think stadiums?
Yeah,
or arenas?
Right.
Regardless, he was a huge act, and I think we forget about that sometimes, and until he comes back to remind us with things like this, or when he comes back and wins Entertainer of the Year at the CMA Awards just because he wanted to.
Yeah,
you know, amazing, and the seeing this figure, I can see why you would want to sell your music.
Sure.
He's 63 years old.
Right.
And that's not old by any standard these days, but he will, and he's more than comfortable, I'm sure, monetarily.
Sure.
But this is going to like fund his whole generation down several generations, I think.
Yeah. So the reported deal could possibly be with Sony Music. Sony Music has been very aggressive buyers in this market of artists selling their catalogs. In 2021, they acquired Bruce Springsteen's entire catalog in a deal that was estimated to be about $500 million. But Sony wasn't done, as they also reportedly purchased Queen's entire catalog in 2024 for more than $1 billion. That's with a B. This story we're talking about with Garth Brooks, they are looking, according to the Wall Street Journal,
right,
and other people familiar with the matter, this valuation is ranging from the high $1 billion range to more than $2 billion. That is insane. However, it shows just how important Garth Brooks has been to the music industry, not just country. Anybody that's been to one of his shows, I know Mrs. TbT has. Anyone that's been to a Garth Brooks show, it rivals Kiss. It is a show.
Spectacle.
Yeah, a spectacle. $2 billion, potentially more. $2 billion.
Well, and don't forget, this is a man. You don't sell 10 million records, go diamond 10 times over without crossing over. So this is not just a country artist. This is a guy who crosses over into pop consistently.
Right.
Consistently. And then, of course, the stage shows are legendary. He is one of the first ones to put on a stage show like that. I don't know any country artist that would do that.
Yeah. And this is the same guy that sold more than 200 million albums in the United States, and that surpassed the Beatles. The Beatles, who only did 183 million certified. So it's insane. It's crazy. Put all the conspiracy theories aside regarding Garth Brooks, but if he sells that catalog for $2 billion or more, that's going to obviously rank among the largest music rights sales ever.
Right, and who else could rival that?
I can only think of one right now. I don't even know right now. Maybe in another 15, 20 years, and that's T Swizzle.
Ah, yes. That'll be a minute, but yes.
Yeah. It'll be a while. Real quick, got to say hi to Swathy McFick, who finally jumped into the chat after she's late. Moderator, please put her in timeout for 2 minutes. Joking. Don't. You keep your fingers off that board. So yeah, Garth Brooks, $2 billion. I know we don't talk a lot of country on here.
Man.
But holy moly.
Garth is the first artist to play Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
First country artist, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and build a true modern stadium tour. So yeah, selling out Texas Stadium in 92 minutes, 65,000 seats. I mean, the crazy stuff this guy did.
Oh, for sure. And honestly, while we're on the subject of playing stadiums, we might as well just go from there and jump straight into the news of Metallica. Metallica has been on tour now for what, 3 straight years?
800 years.
800 years. They are currently involved in a European tour. I think that's what it is, a European leg of the M72 tour, which did launch in 2023. So we're looking at either over 3 or getting near 3 years. They just set an attendance record at Germany's biggest ever stadium by performing a show in front of 94,000 people at Berlin's Olympia Stadion. That sounded French. Whatever.
Yeah, it did.
On May 30th. So we're talking just a few short days ago. The record was previously held by U2, us two, U2, which drew a crowd of a measly 90,000 in 2009. Here's the kicker. The venue's capacity for gigs is usually 72,000 people. So we are easily over 22,000 people more than what their capacity is. I'm sure there's a fire marshal problem with that.
Well, did you read? I think they rigged the stage up a little bit for seating for this, didn't they?
Well, their stage is completely unique anyway for this tour because it's round and it basically opens up a lot of floor.
Right.
But it's a new snake pit. Anybody that's ever been to a Metallica concert knows about the snake pit. So it allows the promoters to sell more tickets than usual.
Right.
And since the hollow, the stage is hollow in the middle, there you go. There's even more tickets. So it's crazy.
Right. And then there was something about the towers that they have are anchored as by raised platforms that double as VIP seating.
Right.
With 8 folding chairs decorated with black and yellow color scheme, similar to their latest record, 72 Seasons.
Exactly.
So are you like sitting up on the tower in a seat? Just like a roller coaster?
Yes.
Okay.
Strapped in.
I'd pay for that.
For sure. This Berlin show is not the only attendance record that has been set recently. On May 9th in Athens, Greece's Olympic Stadium drew more than 90,000 fans. That place typically seats about 75,000. In August of 2023, Metallica drew about 78,000 fans to each of their 2 shows at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, surpassing T Swizzle's attendance figures at that venue. And as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we talked about that on this show. Let's put this whole thing in perspective in regards to money. As of August of 2025, so we're talking 12, 11, 10 months ago, this M72 tour has grossed $476 million on 64 shows. So basically that's what, 8.4 million per gig?
Right, right.
Playing in front of 3.9 million people.
But look at what you just said. This blows me away. $476 million on 64 shows. And that is that's starting from 2023 to now. Well, 2025. So this double show gig that they're doing where you play back-to-back night, well, not back-to-back, but you have that weekend thing going on, that really rests them up, doesn't it?
For sure.
Yeah, they get a nice big break in the middle.
Yeah.
And they still make a ton of money. They don't have to play on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, if you want to add the 16 shows that are being played right now this spring and summer in Europe, that 476 million immediately blooms to over $600 million from an audience of 4.9 million fans. Hardest working band in the business when it comes to touring and doing stuff from their fans. I'm going to bring this up again. You want to see some pretty cool backstage stuff, fan stuff, some things that go on during the show, go to the TikToks. It's the platform for everybody. Remember when it used to be MySpace or AOL? You've got mail. Now their stuff is ridiculous. The cool thing is that Metallica is donating a portion of ticket sales from all of their shows to local charities through their All Within My Hands Foundation, which I think is fantastic. We've talked about that foundation on this show, but just for a band that's been around for so long,
right, to tour like this.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it's insane to do. These older bands do a lot of this, but Metallica, I mean, I don't know if they got Journey beat on how many times they like to, how long they like to tour, but they're pretty close if they don't have a beat.
They have to. I've not looked to see what the remaining tour dates are, but my gosh, this 3-year tour, it's going to come to a point now. Fans are going to be like, okay, it's time to stop touring so that you can finally put out a new album.
Right.
But with their catalog, holy crap, they just keep going and going like Energizer Bunnies.
Alice Cooper tours a lot too. It seems like he never stops. And these guys, it's these older artists that just have that work ethic and that grind in them. It's pretty impressive because they don't have to.
Absolutely not. Not only that, they don't have to release a new album. We've talked about that, new albums and EPs and all that stuff.
But who is putting out quality albums consistently? The last two have been really, really good.
Yeah.
There's no reason they couldn't put out another good one. Not every old artist does that, putting out quality albums.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll actually get into to some new music here later on in the show, one of which we've both listened to at least the first single, and it's a band that's been around for 40 years, and they don't seem to be slowing down. We'll get into that one later. Some of the other stories that we're going to get into this evening include a story that we can talk about right now, because it's about Mötley Crüe, more so about Tommy Lee. Anybody that's been a fan of the crew knows that obviously Mick Mars is no longer in the picture. There for a while, Vince Neil was not in the picture, and our friend John Corabi, of course, was in the band. But how many remember when Tommy Lee exited Mötley Crüe? There's always been speculation. Why did he leave? If anybody even remembers. I mean, good grief, this was 25 years ago.
It was so brief.
Right. It really was. But he left, and I wish I knew the drummer's name that replaced him. Anyway,
I don't know.
I guess that doesn't matter. In a recent interview, Tommy Lee was asked about that. He was asked about leaving the band because the interviewer was like, hey, has there ever been a time where you could have just quit Mötley Crüe? Obviously, homeboy didn't do his research, his homework, if you will. But Tommy Lee talked about leaving Mötley because he was gone for a couple of years, I think, which really goes back to what you said. It wasn't that long. Because usually when people quit a band, they're gone forever. The reason given by Tommy Lee for leaving Mötley Crüe was that he was creatively dying slowly as just his personal musicianship and craft and stuff. And according to him, he needed an outlet. So he quit for a couple years, and that's when he started Methods of Mayhem. And then, of course, he started doing some other solo stuff because he just basically had to switch gears. What I was going to say a while ago is there was all this speculation that he quit because, he's going to rehab or it was drugs or alcohol or whatever. That may be the case. Does it matter? Yeah, no, not really. It doesn't. But someone actually brought this up, and this is the first time I know that Tommy's actually spoke about it one-on-one with somebody doing an interview. So it was kind of interesting. Speaking of Tommy Lee, he did just release his latest solo album called Tommyland Rides Again. That was released on May 22nd. It is a 13-track full-length album, 42 minutes total. Okay.
Randy Castillo is the drummer that replaced him
Oh.
in Mötley Crüe for New Tattoo.
Okay, that's
2000.
not who I'm thinking of because I believe I want to say their touring drummer.
Tommy Clufetto's is their touring drummer.
Who?
Tommy Clufetto.
I'm
on
thinking,
the last tour.
Oh, yeah, that was the last tour. I'm talking about 25 years ago when Tommy Lee left. Samantha Maloney.
Yes. She filled in when Castillo could not.
Yeah.
There's
another one I'm thinking of, and it may not have been Mötley Crüe. She may have filled in for Guns N' Roses after Matt Sorum. That's exactly who it is. That popped in my brain. I could see her playing now. I'm gonna get her name.
But what I was thinking is, I don't know if I ever paid that much attention when he left, except when Methods of Mayhem came out, and I assumed it was a creative thing for him. I don't remember if he spoke about it then or not. I would assume he would, but I remember seeing him play guitar. That's what struck me. He's out there playing guitar and being a front man, from what I remember. So creatively, it's almost funny when a drummer says that, because what are you bored hitting 2 and 4 all the time or that sort of thing? But
right.
But I get it. I get it because he's doing the same thing over and over. It's draining his creative spice, so to speak. So getting out and doing something different from under Mötley Crüe, and it doesn't mean he never intended to come back. Probably.
Am I thinking of Kid Rock?
Kid Rock was the drummer for Mötley Crüe?
No, his drummer. Maybe I'm thinking of her because there's not been the one I'm thinking of.
I don't know.
I'm stuck on that. I got to figure it out.
I don't know, but I could see why he would want to change gears, do something different, especially at that point in time with Mötley Crüe putting out Generation Swine, which didn't do well.
Right.
New Tattoo, which didn't do well. Just this moribund period of the band. Let's freshen it up. Let's do something different.
Yeah. I recommend anybody that wants to listen to Tommy Lee's newly released solo album. I don't know how many he's had. I think this is the third one. Go listen to it. It's not what you think it's going to be. It's not, Mötley Crüe-esque, if you will. He released one in 2002, 2020, and now 2026. It's different, but it's him kind of just letting his creative side out. If it's not going to be what you're used to because it's not Mötley Crüe-esque, I don't think at all. But give it a shot. Check it out. I'm not sure what the lead track off of it, the lead single is, but it's there. Speaking of Mötley Crüe, Tommy Lee also says that here in the next couple weeks, they are going to start rehearsing, of course, for the upcoming Return of Carnival of Sins tour. That is scheduled to hit, what did we say last week? Like 40-some dates this summer.
Like that, yeah.
So that one's going to be a really good show, hopefully. I'm looking forward to that one. 33 days, by the way. I'm looking forward to that one because that's going to hit Noblesville, Deer Creek, whatever you want to call it, up north in the big city of Indianapolis. So That's great.
You know, this made me think of something. I'd like to check on tickets for that and see how it's doing. Now,
Correct. Yeah.
right. Remember what I sent you the other day, the Sammy Hagar link, where the tickets were dirt cheap. Lawn was $35. The pavilion was what, $50?
Like
53
54.
bucks?
Yeah.
Right. I know I paid double that last summer when we saw him at Deer Creek.
Yeah. You should have waited.
Well, and I have Evanescence tickets that I bought. Same deal. Same deal. Not they weren't the pavilion wasn't quite as cheap, but they were diminished a lot. And there's these blue dot fever, blue dot everywhere, and it makes me wonder.
My dog just farted. There's a smell rolling through here right now.
But it made me wonder how well are the Mötley Crüe tickets selling, and are they having to drop some prices to attract some people?
That's a good question.
The Hagar show is only next week or week after, I think.
Yeah. If you find that out, be sure to let me know because I'm very interested in that. We were talking a while ago about new music, and we've mentioned this. I don't know how many shows ago, but there is some archival work being worked on with Alex Van Halen and the Toto guitarist. I always mess up and butcher his last name, so I'm just going to let you do it.
Steve Lukather.
That's what I was going to say. He has recently offered some clarity on his in-progress recording project with Alex Van Halen, confirming that it will feature substantial archived work from Eddie Van Halen and none of his own playing. He basically says that none of this stuff is worth just throwing away. That's what he's talking about. The recordings left by the late Van Halen guitarist, who of course passed away in 2020 at the age of 65. This quote is straight from Steve. He says, "When I heard them, I said to Al, being Alex Van Halen, how come you didn't use these?" And the answer was because nobody could write to it, as in put lyrics to it. So if you think this is a bunch of throwaway crap that we're trying to Mickey Mouse together to suck the dollar out of the poor, unsuspecting Van Halen fans, it is not. He could not provide many more details, but emphasized that these vault tracks are much more than table scraps. These are finished tracks with Ed and Al, and Ed's playing bass on a lot of it. That's all I can say right now because it's a much bigger picture and it's Alex's story to tell. This really just adds more and more meat and excitement for this to come out.
Well, it adds to the mystique as well. Like, what are these tracks that no one could come up with a melody or lyrics, or did they even try? I wonder, we spoke of Sammy Hagar a minute ago. I wonder if Sammy's out there right now reading that story going, wait a minute.
Hold on.
I could have done that, or I did do that, or, that'd be pretty cool to hear. But it sounds like most of it's instrumental type stuff, right?
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm getting at, or that's what I'm picking up on this. There's a lot of people that have been asking, I wonder what they're going to do to this stuff and how much it's going to sound like Toto. Well, it's not.
No.
It's not. There's not going to be any, Lukather, because I'm going to butcher his name again, or Toto fingerprints on a Van Halen thing. I can promise you that. He says he's there to be Al's wingman and go, how can I help you do this?
Right.
I'm there if you want to go this way. I'm there if you want to go that way. Mixes, vocals. He's just there to make sure that the quality control is in place from somebody that Alex Van Halen trusts. So I really like that. And it just makes me a little more eager to hear this when it comes out, when you buy it.
Yeah. Me?
Yeah.
And some of this stuff that we want to see or hear like this probably won't be available through our normal streaming services.
Oh no.
So that's the kicker on a lot of this really cool stuff. You have to buy it or wait till someone puts it up on YouTube and get pieces of it.
Right.
Right. So I don't know what you paid for your Mötley Crüe tickets, but they are going for 35 on the lawn.
Okay.
And about 90 in the pavilion.
Okay.
About
Hold
90
on.
right now.
Hold on.
Which is not bad.
I'm going on here right now to sell mine so that I can go ahead and. Okay, they're sold. Now I'm going to go buy some new ones. No, I'm joking.
Right. There's some more expensive ones here and there, depending on how close you are in these sections. But the average I'm seeing is about $90.
Okay, and that's pretty.
That's not bad.
No,
especially if they were at about 200 or something like that, and we're down to 90.
Yeah.
You wait. When's that show? That's in August, right?
That's in August. Yeah.
Yeah, you wait. We got a long way to go to August.
That shit's going to be buy one, get one free.
We'll be papering that shit.
Probably. That's not the only bit of Van Halen news. As the Jesus and Mary chain, if anybody remembers that group, William Reed from that group says that Eddie Van Halen ruined rock guitar. Settle down, calm down. Don't get your panties in a bunch. He doesn't mean it in such a bad way, I guess. I don't know what other way you could take it. So Jim and William Reed would be on the vocal minority of people saying that Eddie Van Halen was one of the most technically brilliant and innovative musicians to ever pick up the instrument. They would be the 2 out of 10 that would say, yeah, that's not true. They have expressed recently their disdain for Van Halen in an interview just last weekend prior to their headlining performance at New York's Total Bummer Festival. The story's a bummer. The band's lead singer, Jim Reed, explained how minimalism and a relative lack of technical knowledge can shape a guitarist's style for the better. He says, this is all quoted from him, thanks to our friends over at Classic Rock and Culture. It's ultimateclassicrock.com. Not having a lot of equipment actually forces you to be more inventive. He says, I can play guitar, but only it's kind of deliberate. I play the guitar to the level that I need to play it. And sometimes knowing too much about making music gets in the way, and it ends up back to Eddie Van Halen again. Do you know what I mean? No. Okay, I'll explain. I think guitar players should never learn scales. I think the worst guitar players in the world, like Eddie Van Halen. I can't stand Eddie Van Halen's guitar playing. I think he ruined rock guitar all through the 80s and 90s because so many people copied him. And I just couldn't get any of that playing as fast as you freaking can and cramming as many notes in on 1 second as you could.
What?
I listened to Peter Hook's bass riffs, and I think that's 1,000 times better than anything Eddie Van Halen could ever conjure up. But wait, there's more.
Okay.
For what it's worth, it sounds like William Reed doesn't actually hate Eddie Van Halen. Rather, he hates bands like Rat, Poison, and the myriad of other glam metal bands whose fiery lead guitarists were nipping at Eddie's heels.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to go back to what I said just a second ago. This also goes back to Eddie Van Halen basically admitting that he never learned how to read music and didn't even take guitar lessons. He took piano lessons, but never guitar lessons. And for all of his jaw-dropping technical innovations, Van Halen often couched his incredible riffs and solos within catchy 3.5-minute pop songs. So yeah, you want to read the article, please read the article. You want to get upset, please read the article. You really want to just throw stuff, please read the article.
Well, I got confused for a second when he was talking about putting 1,000 notes in a second or whatever. Eddie was not a shredder in that sense that we think of shredders.
No.
He was not CC DeVille. CC DeVille that you talked about last week, underrated, that sort of thing. He is fast. He puts a lot of notes in, but he is not Vinnie Vincent, who overplays everything. So I don't know. I don't know what I mean. By this guy's standard, you and I are geniuses
for sure.
I mean, as far
Shredding.
right. And if Digital Viper's around, suck it, because we are more talented than you, apparently.
Exactly.
I don't know where this guy's coming from, but I mean,
I don't understand.
They don't even play the same style of music. It's a whole different thing.
Well, you just mentioned Viper, and he makes a very good point. Eddie wasn't what I'd call a shredder. He could do so, but he was very melodic in his riffs and put tapping on the map with rock music. He's not Yngwie Malmsteen. Yngwie is a shredder.
Yes.
Yeah. See, we could have done the entire episode on this one article because it just stirs up so much crap.
Right, and Eddie's not around to defend it. Not that he would. Right. He'd flip the guy off and go on and play some killer riffs, but
yeah, and smoke another one.
Right, but it's utterly ridiculous to even talk about this.
Yeah.
How many people are nodding their heads along? Yeah, this guy's right. No, he's not.
Probably nobody. Nope. Moderator Natalie said she agreed. She goes, yes, his stuff is so much better than Eddie Van Halen because Eddie Van Halen was mediocre. And then she put up another heart hand.
What? What is she? You're insane.
She's trying to get fired.
She's nuts.
I know. It's just what she said. I don't know what to say. Moving on to that, I just want to see if she's paying attention. She is paying attention, and I got a bunch of hand hearts. She is definitely nuts. Viper agrees. Let's get back to some talk of some new music coming down the pipe. Mark Kendall, of course, from Great White, says that we have 3 songs ready to go, but we have 7 on tape. So if you're looking to get new Great White music, which it'd be fantastic. This is Great White basically without Mr. Russell, who of course passed away. And they have their new vocalist, Brett Carlisle, who we have mentioned on this show before. There's no indication at all when any of this music is going to become available. Could be later this year, could be early 2027. But like many other bands, it is just nice knowing that they're doing something. You know, to me, this is really, really, really reminiscent of what Firehouse is doing.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to point out. Yes. And I don't know what I think of that. Put out a song here, a song there. That's the thing now. Maybe not put a record out. Just a song here and a song there,
No, I think they will. I think they will.
They will?
Great White, absolutely. I also think Firehouse will, but since we're talking about Great White, yes, I absolutely think they will. I think this is just one of those opportunities to get the word out that, yeah, we're working on some new music. It ain't here yet, but we're putting it out. It much like what Firehouse did. They've released two singles, with Nate Peck.
Can we stream them yet? Can we stream them yet?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the other point is, again, with these legacy bands, it's do we be creative and put out music and maybe people will hear it or maybe they won't? Or do we just, tour, play what people want to hear and have a good time? There's 2 camps to that. And it feels like maybe Mark Kendall isn't sure which lane he wants to be in. Can we tour? Yeah, we'll tour. Maybe we'll play music that's new. I don't know.
Yeah, they've recorded a couple of demos, but we haven't been to the studio. to lay down the tracks. We have some songs to do, and yes, that's the plan in regards to a new studio album from Great White in 2026. So 2026 is the plan. It's already June, so we're 6 months into it. So who knows? The hardest part is because we all live so far apart and we play a lot of weekend shows. So we're usually home 3 or 4 days at a time, and so it's not a lot to coordinate. But they're going to make it happen, which is good. I'd love to hear some new stuff coming out from Great White. Just another one of those bands that have been great, and you know, with having I can't think of his name now. Brett Carlisle, with having him now, it's great. Let's do this. Pull the same thing that Firehouse is doing.
Well, you know, and as he said, they all live in different places, and coordinating it is tough. But anymore, I think a lot of bands punch this stuff in wherever they're at, and send it digitally. Here's my vocals on this song, and send the file, kind of thing. It's not like the old days where you're all in the studio for 6 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever it is,
or
making music, or
2 months. Yeah. Another band who actually has a live, I think it's a full length live coming out May 29th. Actually, just came out May 29th. So last Friday, Lynch Mob released The Final Ride. It's not going to be their final ride, as George Lynch has confirmed that Lynch Mob is working on a brand new studio album. Right now, he's just searching for grooves and riffs. That's another band that we've talked about. Of course, the Lynch Mob, it was supposed to be done. You know, this new live album, The Final Ride, was going to be it. And there was the talk of, you know, all these other bands that have said they're going to be done and retire and blah, blah, blah. Kiss. And yet they don't. So add Lynch Mob to that list, which is great. He even jokes about it now and says it's pretty common for musicians to announce their farewell tours and then change their minds. He was the one that came out and said, okay, what are you going to do? Just sue me. I don't think anybody's going to. And if they do, it's going to be frivolous. It's my word of the day.
Right.
Frivolous.
George Lynch is hitting a very strong creative period in his life, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to say anything about Cassandra Carson.
Right. That, the stuff he's doing with her, and then what is the other group he has? Is it Into the Machine or something like that? They've put out like 2 or 3 records.
Yeah.
Always touring with Lynch Mob, and now putting out new music with Lynch Mob. He is in his 70s and is probably as creative as he's ever been.
Yeah. He doesn't slow down, which is great.
Another guy that shreds like crazy.
Yeah.
Like crazy is George Lynch.
Can't read a lick of music and just shreds.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. Yeah. I have no idea if that part's true. So that's cool. Not only we have Great White coming out with possibly some new music in 2026, we might get something from Lynch Mob as well, which is very cool. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. One band that has released a single that was released just last week, I believe it was, featuring Oz Fox, Robert Sweet, and Perry Richardson. Of course, on lead vocals is Michael Sweet, the band Stryper, who has been around for 42 years.
And another creative band, especially Michael Sweet.
Holy moly. They just returned with a very powerful new single. It is called I'm All Right, parentheses, I'm Okay. Reaffirming why they remain one of the most influential and enduring bands in metal. Like I just said, 42, did I say 42? 42 years they've been doing this. I listened to the new single. I sent it to you. That thing is, and this is going to be the word of the day now instead of frivolous. It is a shredder. It is good.
Yeah.
Wow. despite the 40-some years, this band continues to balance their unmistakable message with a sound that is every bit as commanding, melodic, and relevant as ever. It is awesome. It's definitely got an old school feel from, 85, 86 to Hell with the Devil era. But then you can mix some Against the Law, which, 1991, somewhere around
91.
there.
Yep.
I think it is fantastic, and I cannot wait to hear this entire album.
You mentioned when we spoke about it privately about the guitars, and that was one thing you noticed was the guitar playing and the riffs and that sort of thing. What I noticed, and I picked it up right away, that chorus, and maybe you'll hear it now, but that stacked vocal on the chorus sounds almost just like Styx. Blew me away when I heard it. Sounded just like Styx. And
I'm
then
going to hear it now.
Right. And then when Michael screams, has those screams at the end with the reverb on it.
Yeah.
King Diamond. I got chills. Oh my gosh. He sounded just like King Diamond.
That's the show. I'm going to go listen to it. So you get
those were my
back.
observations.
I'm pretty sure that I did. I posted this on our social media last week when it came out. I put the video or the lyric video or something up on our Facebook page. So if you have not listened to it, and you know anything about Stryper or what they used to sound like back in 1986 when To Hell with the Devil came out, or 1988 when In God We Trust came out, or 91. Was it 91?
Yes,
okay,
91.
They've just gone on and on and on and on and on. They keep putting out good stuff. I get it.
Yeah.
Stryper is not for everyone, but the one thing you cannot deny is the fact that they keep putting out good shit. Plain and simple.
Right. And you're talking lyrically, but a lot of times, especially these days, those lyrics are a bit ambiguous anyway.
Sure.
Michael Sweet knows what he's singing about. You can interpret it however you want to interpret it.
Absolutely.
Or pick it up straight from what he wants and get the message. And it's fine either way. It's fine either way.
These are albums that you could literally take the lyrics away and just listen to the music and be like, holy crap. Much like we talked about just a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago when we talked about Sleep Token. They just released their latest album, instrumental only, no vocals. I guarantee you could do that with this upcoming Stryper album as well, and you would be absolutely amazed. One of the funnest bands to watch live, not because of the show, not because of the spectacle, nothing like that, but just to watch the guitar work. Not taking anything away from Perry Richardson and his bass or Robert Sweet and the drums, but just to watch this tandem in freaking tempo, just I don't even know how to explain it, between Oz Fox and Michael Sweet. It's insane. And I've seen them 3 times, I think, maybe 4. I think 4 times, and it's incredible each and every time. Just watching their stuff, I love it.
Well, I've never seen them, but I wouldn't be objectionable to it.
Yeah,
at
objectionable. All. That's such a big word. I'm so proud of you. Our final story for the night. If you remember, we talked about the auction that was coming up with a whole bunch of cool rock and metal stuff. Namely was the 1975 Gibson Les Paul from Ace Frehley, which is one of the most historically significant guitars in rock and roll. Well, it's sold. If you remember, they were saying it was expected to fetch between $400,000 and $600,000. Well, they hit the nail on the head, because that son of a gun sold for $512,000. I can tell you right now, neither myself nor Ace were the winning bidders.
No, not at all.
I was outbid by $511,995. The longtime use of this Gibson Les Paul has earned Ace Frehley a place on nearly every top 10 Les Paul players list of all time. There were a bunch of other items from Frehley that were sold above their original estimates. The Super Bowl 33 stage played 1997 Gibson Signature Les Paul Custom. It sold for $57,000. The stage played 1996 Kiss Reunion Tour Light Show Sanchez Custom Gibson Les Paul Jr. It sold for $57,600. The stage-worn Destroyer costume, which I want still, $51,000. Ace Frehley, Arthur Kane of the New York Dolls stage-worn jumpsuit sold for $11,000. And Ace's 1977 Rock and Roll Over tour jacket sold for pocket change at $8,960. Of course, this was a whole bunch of stuff. This landmark event offered collectors and fans a rare opportunity to acquire pieces from the music legends who shaped generations. It included guitar, stageware, handwritten lyrics, blah, 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 blah. We were really only concerned about the Ace stuff, but holy frickin' moly.
If Jim Irsay was still alive, he probably would own that.
I literally was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, he would own that guitar.
Yeah.
And display it.
I am a little disappointed. I'm sure you will agree that moderator Natalie did not get any of these things after the high salary that we pay her on a weekly basis.
No kidding.
I'm a little disappointed.
She was all in.
Yeah, so did I. A little disappointed. But still, $512,000 for a 1975 Les Paul guitar that belonged to Ace Frehley is still pretty badass. I don't care who you are. I wish I knew who bought it. I'm going to do some searches and see if we can find this out, because I just want to know the dude's name. I hope his name's like Ralph. And they could say, who owns it? And you could be like, oh, Ralph. Like, you know who he is.
Lives in his mom's basement. Is stuck in the corner.
No, not Brad. Ralph. So, who knows? It'd be nice. It'd be pretty cool. I'm going to look for it. I'm going to find it. You can afford a guitar that was owned by Ace from the Weekly Pour podcast. No, you can't. You can't afford a daggone guitar that was owned by Ace from Ace Hardware. Moderator.
We talked about this a while back.
Yeah.
I just looked it up again. David Gilmour's Black Strat that was at auctioned off sold for $14.5 million. That's incredible. I mean, 500,000 is a lot. Yeah. It blows me away. And then 14 million for a guitar that Jim Irsay owned and auctioned off.
Yeah.
People like their guitars, man.
Yep, and the cool thing is, I can't wait for the delivery. Before we end this show, I do have to give some mad props to our. We have some friends that do these kind of things. Townie, I don't know if you can read that. It's a sticker. It's the Townie Press Company, locally made, because that's what the sticker says. I don't know where the hell local is, but it says locally made.
Hey,
where? Anyway,
makes you feel good.
Look. It's a Weekly Pour t-shirt.
Nice.
You can get yours for the cost of probably $19.99. I don't know. Just visit them. I think they're on Facebook. It's Townie Press Co. They're locally made. So that means wherever you are listening to this podcast, that's where they're made. Local. Right? Something like that.
Right.
But yeah, I do want to thank our number one main sponsor, Petty's Pour Decisions. They've been kicking ass this summer. Of course, everybody needs a nice, refreshing adult beverage. They've been doing good, and I wanted to give them a quick shout out. And of course, thank once again Townie Press Company, locally made. Wherever you're listening to this podcast or watching, they're local. Here's their sticker. Go find them on the Book of Face. Okay, we're gone. We're out of here. We'll be back next week with a brand new show and lots more news. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Remember, locally owned, local.